What's up everybody, Gen X Dividend Investor here. In this video I elaborate on why passive dividend income enables freedom. So when I first started investing, I never really appreciated the fact that growing your passive dividend income starts you on a path towards giving you more freedom to decide what you want to do with your life and with your time. Dividends allow you to make money while you aren't thinking or doing anything for them, so it's an awesome way for your money to work for you, rather than you just work for your money. And as your dividend income grows, your need to keep working to make money shrinks, and eventually you can get to a point where you gain complete freedom from having to work. Just think how impactful that can be. I mean, the average person will spend about 1/3 of their life at a job, which means about 90,000 hours. And yet one of the most important things in your life is your time, so investing in solid dividend companies can be like buying more time. Most people will never own true passive income investments, but even owning some extra recurring income can mean your retirement comes sooner. The older you get, the more you value the limited time you have. That reminds me of this article I read yesterday about a TV anchor who just died from colon cancer, but before she died she shared a poignant and thought-provoking message that is worth reflecting on, and that has two key points about what is most important in life. Number one is time, and number two is good health, and those two things are our only true commodities. She recommended that everyone who is 45 or older get a colonoscopy, and I agree that you should talk to your doctor about if you should get one. I did a video a few years ago called My Worst Investing Mistakes, where I mentioned that I had just gotten a colonoscopy and how it was quick and easy and completely painless. They actually ended up finding a small polyp in my colon, which they removed and tested. Fortunately, it wasn't cancerous, and so they recommended I get another colonoscopy in 5 years rather than the normal 10 years that most people wait between them. I'm really glad I got it done, and it reinforced one of the TV anchor's key points about making your health a priority. My passive dividend income has given me more time in life since I no longer need to work to pay bills, which also means that my dividends have allowed me to exercise more and put even more focus on improving my health. My divvies also pay for all the food I eat, and I found myself eating healthier as I get older. Now don't get me wrong, I still eat some crap now and then, but these days I eat way less sugar, way more whole grains, more plain yogurt and more fiber, more non-processed fruits and veggies and stuff like that. Had I really understood how amazing it would be to get my time back due to divvies, then I'd have invested far more when I was younger. The reality is that you can have it all, you just can't have it all at once. What I mean is that investing non-stupidly over a long period of time will most likely enable true wealth and will give you the gift of more time. Of course, I worked my butt off for a long time, and I pushed through some really challenging situations at work that I wanted to run away from. I had periods of working with toxic people, and I had to push through my fears and discomfort of public speaking, and it was a rough ride at times. But I also had some incredible people I enjoyed working with, and had some awesome laughs along the way. I learned that balance is good, but sometimes imbalance can enable you to achieve your goals faster, so you have to ask yourself if pushing yourself hard is worth it. Like in my experience, the people who are willing to push their careers harder by sacrificing certain things in their life can achieve more work success, but that doesn't mean that that is right for you. Maybe you're someone who values a work-life balance more than achieving higher levels of work success, and that's fine too. Just keep moving towards your goals, and be mindful of the trade-offs you're making. Another freedom that passive dividend income can enable is to allow you to travel the world more. Or even more specific, passive dividend income can enable you the ability to retire overseas. What I mean is that many countries around the world have long-stay retirement visas that require you to prove that you have a minimum amount of passive income coming in before they'll grant you that visa. The income can come from a variety of sources such as pensions, dividends, annuities, rental income, interest, or social security. For example, France's long-stay visa requires that financially independent foreigners prove that they have enough income to live off of, and they must also agree not to work for pay while in the country. The monthly income requirement is usually at least equal to what a full-time worker making the French minimum wage would make, which is around $1,500 to $1,900 a month, or about $18K to $23K a year as of 2024. Ireland's retirement visa wants to see an income of about $55,000 a year, and you must also have access to a lump sum amount of money to cover any sudden major expenses. Portugal has something called the D7 passive income visa, which allows US citizens to reside in Portugal if they have a steady stream of stable passive income of about $10,000 a year. Spain has a visa which requires you to make around $35,000 a year in passive income, plus about $7,500 per additional person that you want to take with you. Now, each country usually has a bunch of different visa options, so even if you don't meet the requirements of the passive income one, you might still meet the requirements of the other ones. And those visa requirements change all the time, so something that is valid one day might not be on another day, so definitely research things at the time you're evaluating things. Some countries have what's called a golden visa, where if you invest around $250K to $500K into local real estate or local stocks, then you could gain residency or citizenship status. Golden visas were meant to incentivize more investment in the local economies, but they had the unintended effect of pushing up real estate prices too high for locals, to the point that many places ended their golden visa programs. Plus, some governments were concerned that golden visas could be used for money laundering, tax evasion, and even organized crime. Another common visa requirement is that foreigners need to prove that they have health insurance that covers them internationally, at least for a period of time. The key point of all of this is that passive dividend income enables some extra freedom to move and live in other countries. I have a retirement planning channel on my Dividend Discord, and recently we were talking about cheap places you can retire to around the world, where your money can enable a higher quality of living standard. There are videos of expats living on $500 a month, $400 a month, and even $300 a month all around the world, because living in places like Vietnam or Thailand or the Philippines can really allow your income to go further. Of course, there are also cons to living in foreign countries, but at least it's an option worth considering. Some people choose to move outside the US for other reasons beyond just the lower cost of living. Like Italy is known for its healthy lifestyle, which is something many expats seek. And expats retiring in Italy might be able to benefit from a 7% flat tax rate for pensioners, which is geared towards seniors who transfer their residency to specific Italian cities and whose retirement income is from a foreign source, amongst other requirements. Some people move to live in different climates, perhaps to live in friendlier communities, and to gain access to new and different cultural and historical landmarks. Of course, everything has trade-offs, so you have to be willing to leave some friends and family behind, and some places may not be as friendly towards foreigners and blah blah blah, and you can find tons of videos on YouTube of people sharing their experiences, which is really interesting. Like here's a relevant clip from a channel named AmeliaAndJP Abroad that talks about retiring overseas. I'll include a link to their channel in the description of this video for all those that are interested.
Some of you might have another option to fund your live abroad lifestyle, and that is with your retirement pension income or just passive income.
If you're already retired or you have a lot of passive income, then this is a great option. There are a lot of places that offer retirement visas, and you can live a really nice quality lifestyle on less.
Yeah, some of these don't even require you to be retired. You just need passive income from things like rentals or investments or dividends, any sort of kind of income that you don't have to actively work for.
If you are retired and have a pension or Social Security with at least $1,000 a month, you have so many options.
Yeah, even if you don't have $1,000 per month from your pension or retirement, you still have a few options like Bolivia, Bulgaria, Colombia might even work for you. And there are other countries that you can work around kind of their visa requirements, and you can live in a lot of different places even on less than $1,000 a month.
Cool. Of course, you need to do a lot of prep research to ensure that moving to another country is something you really want to do. I mean, I think it's easy to vacation somewhere and then develop a fantasy of how awesome it would be to live there, and it could be, but I'd recommend that before you commit to moving somewhere new, that you spend at least a couple months living there to get a real sense for what things are like. Use the local grocery stores and transportation options. Go to the gym or do whatever you think your life would be like to get a real sense of things. Maybe visit in different seasons to get a more holistic view. Obviously, there can be tons of new challenges to deal with, from language issues to unplanned difficulties like getting a new driver's license or even opening a bank account. But having enough passive dividend income at least gives you a nice option for moving overseas. The TLDR is that you want to make intelligent investment actions today to enable more freedom for yourself in the future. But you shouldn't only focus on the future, because you should also strive to enjoy your current situation in reality. I mean, odds are that in 30 years, you would give everything you own if you could just go back in time 30 years to where you are right now. And even if you're facing some really challenging situations right now, I encourage you to reflect on things that are good in your life. Even if things are really tough, I still recommend you start purposefully practicing gratitude. What I mean is that before you fall asleep at night, I want you to push aside the crap you're dealing with and think about things you can be grateful for. The simplest things are often the best. Can you walk, talk, think? Maybe be excited and grateful that you're working out more or are focusing on improving your finances more. Maybe just be happy that your blanket feels cozy at night. There are lots of things you can be grateful for even during dark times, and it's healthy to reflect on anything positive in your life. Anyway, another freedom that passive dividend income enables is having less stress. Like, I'm pretty confident my dividends will keep paying out, and in fact am more confident in my dividend income than I was when I had job income. I mean, I've seen how anyone can be let go at work for any reason, and while I know that my investments can, and will, sometimes cut their dividend, it still is a lot better to see your dividend income drop a bit when that happens, rather than it go completely away when you lose your job. Passive dividend income can be kind of like unemployment insurance, only you don't have paperwork involved to get it. Dividends can decrease your financial stress, and the more passive dividend income you get, the less financial concerns you'll have. And knowing that historically we've seen dividend hikes outpace inflation, on average, will ultimately allow your buying power to potentially continually increase. And tied to less mental stress is that I have more positive thoughts about the future. Like, I feel confident that my family will be okay financially even if I'm not around, so my dividends have given me freedom from having financial concerns about the future. And the less stress you have, the healthier you tend to become. Like, I've noticed that I get sick much less frequently than I used to when I was working. Plus, when I'm in a car, I never feel any sort of road rage like I used to sometimes. Before, when I was dealing with commuting every day, then sometimes when something happened, like getting cut off, that would cause me to get irked. But these days my wife has actually commented that I'm more like a monk because stuff never rattles me. I'm just a lot more calm and stuff doesn't bother me when it goes wrong. I can still get annoyed, but it's just that I've noticed that it happens much less frequently. And all that ultimately came from the benefits I've gotten due to my passive dividend income. Another big aspect of stress avoidance is not having to sell stock to get income. I don't need to worry that the market has fallen and I'm having to sell stocks, and I don't need to be annoyed if I sell and then that stock shoots up. I can just buy and hold and acquire more and maybe reinvest some as well. Of course, if the S really hit the fan, then I'd still have the option to be able to sell some shares for even more income, and knowing I can do that is yet another layer of financial stress avoidance. And above all, the passive nature of dividend income is truly king. I don't need to sit in front of my computer and trade stocks, which is good because this data says that 90% of stock traders fail to make money over time. In fact, it says that over time, 80% of traders lose, 10% break even, and only 10% make money consistently. So the majority of people who trade stocks frequently lose, and us dividend folks don't need to worry about that. Another aspect of freedom that passive dividend income can enable is one of opportunity, like the opportunity to pursue your hobbies more. I mean, once your dividend income grows larger than your expenses and you retire, then you can play video games more with your friends, or you can watch more movies during the day, or you can spend more time volunteering somewhere, or whatever you like. And your passive dividend income may allow you to be more selective when you're looking for a job. Like if you have income paying your bills, then that translates into more freedom and selectivity in regards to a job. You also have more time to do things like pursue or improve relationships. Ultimately, passive dividend income gives you the ability to make life decisions without worrying as much about the financial consequences. And even though dividends cover my bills, I still live below my means and try to be relatively frugal. I'll often negotiate to get better deals when I can. I track what recurring monthly and annual costs I have in a spreadsheet, and I document what big unexpected costs come along. Doing all that helps me stay on top of my finances, and I actually enjoy maintaining my spreadsheets. We budget for vacations before we go on them, as I never want to carry credit card balances. And all of that was made possible due to those lovely dividends. Dividend income can grease the skids of possibilities, and gaining financial literacy should help you accelerate your wealth creation. I often talk about financial literacy on my channel, and specifically I'm talking about having the skills, knowledge, and exhibiting the behaviors to make informed decisions regarding money. Like, are you spending less than you make? Are you investing? Do you understand concepts like inflation and compound interest? Stuff like that. But I saw an article the other day on a financial blog where an author gave an interesting response as to what financial literacy was. They said that financial literacy boils down to one thing: spend less than your take-home pay. Now, while I agree that spending less than you make is important, I was surprised that someone giving financial advice would leave out the other aspects of financial literacy. Anyway, investing is something that unfortunately a lot of people don't think about, or at least won't risk doing. Like, I saw this comment on a video that said, "I'm a 48-year-old doctor feeling burnt out from long hours and stress. I've never invested in a retirement portfolio because I've always believed the economy would collapse eventually. However, I plan to retire soon and I'm curious. If you had $120K to invest safely in stocks over 4 to 5 years to grow, how would you start?" So I had a bunch of thoughts from that comment. The first is that I think we can all relate to someone who feels burnt out due to working too much and having too much stress. Another thought I had was that this guy is kind of like the majority of adults that have never invested, and fear is a key reason behind their inaction, and I get that. I mean, the reality is that the pain of losing money, even temporarily, is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gain. That means we're typically much more likely to avoid investing because we fear the potential loss. This fear creates an internal resistance to investing. Of course, some people don't invest because they aren't sure how to go about it, which is another thing this guy said, and some people don't invest because their finances are just too tight. The next thought I had about his comment was that some people put off investing because they think it's something they can always get to later. Or some people put it off because they feel it's too late to start, and both are unfortunate things to think. Investing and managing your money is something that is a lifelong endeavor, and it's never too late to go on a better path. People put so much energy into their job, but they often don't put much energy into managing their money once it comes in. Yet if they just realize the potential that quality investments can add to their life, as well as those around them, then I think they'd invest. The freedoms you can gain from owning good assets should cause you to stay the course during tough times. Passive dividend income ultimately gives you the freedom for more comfort, like comfort in the ability to buy things you want, or the comfort from having more financial flexibility. Dividends can give you financial freedom, which can mean being able to easily pay your bills each month. It can mean becoming debt-free. Maybe it means being able to build a larger emergency fund. Perhaps it means being able to help others or treat others with responsible gift-giving. Financial freedom doesn't necessarily mean getting rich. It can just mean being able to live without worrying so much about personal finances. But only about 1 in 10 Americans are living their definition of financial freedom, according to a recent survey. I found this chart on Good Egg Investments that explained what the path was to achieving financial freedom, and it started with what they called financial security, which is when you have passive income that covers your basic living expenses. So like if you lost or quit your job today, but you still had enough income coming in through other sources to cover your basic living expenses of food and shelter and clothing, then you'd be financially secure. The next step they identified was financial independence, which is when your passive income covers your current lifestyle. That means you'd have enough passive income to fully cover your bills and splurges, like that latte you get every morning that you might not need but you want, or maybe your Netflix subscription, or maybe it's the ability to take a family vacation now and then. Finally, we get to their definition of true financial freedom, which is when passive income covers your ideal lifestyle. So maybe that means flying first class or getting that nice suite on a cruise ship, basically going above and beyond. Leave me a comment telling me what financial freedom means to you, and if you plan for dividends to be part of your definition. Sometimes when I do my portfolio review videos, I'll get a comment from a new viewer who'll say things like, "Sure, if I had $2 or $3 million, my life would have a lot less stress," or something similar. And what they're seemingly not realizing is that no one handed me that money. It came from investing for about 3 decades. Investing, at least to me, isn't a get-rich-quick thing. It's a get-rich-slow thing, and you gotta play the long game and have patience and commitment to really grow your wealth. If you do, then I'm confident you'll end up with much more freedom. And with that, I'd like to close things off, and I'd first like to pitch my FASTgraphs affiliate link along with my coupon code in the description of this video, as using both will allow new users to get 25% off their first payment, even if they sign up for a full year. Plus, check out my Seeking Alpha affiliate link, as new users often get distinct benefits for signing up. Finally, take a look at my Patreon seats to see if there's anything you want to sign up for. However, since my Patreon Aristocrat and King seats are usually sold out, I'll instead recommend that you join my channel membership, which gives you a variety of perks, including a badge icon that levels up over time, and you'll get the ability to vote on which thumbnail I use for my next video, and you'll get to watch my video about a day before I release it publicly. Whatever you do, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and click the bell notification. And don't forget to join my free Dividend Discord chat server, which has over 11,000 Dividend investors on it from 81 countries around the world. Thanks for watching, stay positive, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and my videos are for entertainment and inspirational purposes only. Investing of any kind involves risk. I'm only sharing my opinions with no guarantee of gains or losses on investments.